it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's too severe right there.
No, that's not true.
I know.
All right, folks, welcome back to the channel and to another Hickory Hacker course vlog. This week we're playing pre-1935 Hickory Golf at Normandie Golf Club in Bel-Nor, Missouri. This course is just outside of St. Louis and lays claim to being the oldest golf course west of the Mississippi River, still in its original location. It dates back to 1902 and was originally designed by Robert Foulis, one of the three Foulis brothers, the others being James and David. Robert's considered the father of American golf here in St. Louis just based on the fact that he designed so many of the courses here at the turn of the century. This course, though, will close in August of 2023 to be completely renovated by Nicholas Designs, and we'll talk about that as we go. So here's what's in the bag, sponsored by Stewart and Jacoby. As I mentioned, we're playing pre-35 Hickory golf, so this is my primary Hickory set with a Titleist True Field ball. And we get started on number 1, par 4, 365 yards. Joining me for this round is Jeff Kissel, who goes by Munies and Monsters on Instagram. It's a really fun page if you're into golf course architecture, and I highly recommend you check it out. And I get things started in my conventional fashion, grounding one off the first tee. So one of the big things you're going to notice about this course vlog are the course conditions. And we'll talk about the moisture, or lack thereof, first. So the summer of 2022 was a dry one in St. Louis, and Normandie Golf Club was running fast and firm when we played it in October of that year. This was the fastest course I played all season because of the conditions, and it definitely took me a while to adjust my game accordingly.
Great shot.
Yeah, Jeff's playing his modern clubs and had no trouble getting out of that bunker, though that was one of the only bunkers on the course you could effectively get out of or play out of, because the rest of them were ground under repair, as you're going to see. That's because that sort of maintenance had already stopped on the course by the time we played it in October of 22. The course was slated to close about a week after we played this round, and they were getting ready for shutting it down, basically, for the renovation. All right, number 2 is a par 4, 399 yards. The first instance of what I thought was most challenging about this course, which is the gap between tee and fairway, effectively becoming a forced carry. And those are always difficult for me. I have a tendency to overswing in those situations, though this shot was pretty good with the 19-degree Tom Stewart driving iron. All right, so this is a special club I brought for this round specifically. This is a pre-1904 Tom Stewart smooth face gutty club made for Robert Foulis. I found this club in an antique store in the St. Louis area in 2021 and thought it was appropriate to bring it back to Normandie to play. It may have been here originally, who knows? It's always fun when you can bring a historic golf club back to a club that it has a connection to. And I can't think of a more appropriate place to play that club than Normandie. Jeff took a swing with it later on, which you'll see.
Shadow's really messing me up on some of these.
All right, number 3 is the first par 3, 170 yards. Jeff, by the way, is playing this round from the tips, and I'm playing it from the whites, which is just short of 6,000 yards. Good length for me with hickories. I'll also say one of the highlights of this course for me are the par 3s. I thought all of them were really pretty holes, usually starting from an elevated tee. And once the renovation is complete, assuming that they leave most of the routing the way it is right now, I think is going to be really beautiful to play. This is one situation where I'm not going to play it as it lies. So yeah, so that used to be a bunker. It will be again, most likely. Jeff had a good observation about this round. I mean, we were assuming that this was going to be the last time that Jeff was going to be able to play Normandie before the renovation, and he kind of considered it to be a funeral, because this is the only course he's ever known here at Normandie, and the only course a lot of people have known for decades. The original routing from 1902 has changed quite a bit over the years, so it's not like we're playing Foulis's original design. And I'll talk more about some of the routing changes on the back nine where they're more apparent. See, I understand where Jeff is coming from, and other folks who consider the renovation of this course with a bit of trepidation. You know, you fall in love with a course, and when the word renovation comes around, that usually means significant changes. In golf course architecture terms, you'd rather hear restoration because that usually means that there's going to be kind of a harkening back to what the course originally was, which, if you're a purist like Jeff and I are, that's kind of what we're after, are those courses that meet the designer's intentions as close as possible. But yeah, when you hear the word renovation, that usually means significant changes to a design or routing, and you just hope that after it's all said and done that the course still resembles what you fell in love with all those years of playing here. One thing is certain, though, that everyone can agree on, is the number of trees here at Normandie need to be thinned considerably. As the case with a lot of old courses, tree growth is usually the first step in restoring a course, and they've already begun doing that here at Normandie when this video is being posted on the channel, March of 2023. So I'm glad that we did get out here to document what Normandie looked like in the before situation, and I'm looking forward to coming back out to seeing what it looks like after the renovation and comparing those pictures. All right, number 5, par 3, 159 yards. Another very pretty hole here. You don't see much of the green from the tips, but Jeff knows where he's going.
Okay, good shot.
You notice too, I'm only using 3 clubs in this round plus my putter. The driving iron, the mashie, and on occasion the flanged McGregor mashie niblick. It's just another example you can get through an entire round of Hickory golf with just 4 clubs.
It's not going to go all the way down.
All right, first swing with the Hickory club.
So Jeff asked me what the closest thing I had to a 45-degree wedge was, and I gave him the mashie niblick. And that's pretty good for a first Hickory swing.
It wasn't bad.
I was playing for a cut.
Yeah, it actually, I mean, there's very little offset on these, so it's way easier to turn these over and draw a ball, yeah. So next swing, you bear that in mind.
Jeff's a really good amateur golfer, and it's hard to get those guys to commit to Hickory golf because they enjoy playing modern clubs so much. But I think the few swings that he took with the Hickories that I brought piqued his interest, and I predict I'll be able to get him on the course some point playing a full Hickory round. That was actually a par for me, even though I'm not keeping score this round. This is more of an exhibition. I figure going forward, I'll save the scoring for Hickory golf events, like tournament events, and for course vlogs on courses that I've played before. And just focus on showing you the golf course in these exhibition course vlogs.
Sideways. I'll be out in the 7th fairway.
Especially on holes like this where I start off the tee pushing a ball way right onto the 7th fairway here. And fortunately, Jeff was with me to tell me where to go. Otherwise, I would have been flying even more blind than I normally am.
Oh.
Now, this is one of the easier holes on the course, and I made a mess of it.
Come on. Trying to play for the fast firm in front of the green, and
Yeah, if I remember right, this was the hole where I decided, I'm not going to show the score in this course vlog. And to clarify, I keep the score. You know, I'm not going to show it to you. You could keep track yourself if you wanted. You're seeing every shot here. But I just figure in these rounds where I'm showing you a course for the first time and I'm playing it for the first time, there's no point in showing you what's probably going to be a big score. I'll just save that for the handicap. All right, number 7, par 5, 546. Get to see the 7th fairway from the proper perspective this time. This is a tricky hole. In addition to the length, you've got blind tee shot here, and then a blind approach, and then a tricky green to approach. So you really want to take the right angles into each of your next shots on this, and obviously I did not. I was coming at it from the opposite direction every shot pretty much. You don't want to be that far left, even though I got lucky. That ball trickled between the bush and the tree there.
yeah, I think I threaded the needle there. All right, getting lucky now.
You definitely want to stay in the middle
That looks nice.
of
Right
the
at it.
fairway, so you've got a good approach.
A little bit right
Yeah, here you see what happens when you're this far left on this hole. Got no choice but to just try to punch it back into the center of the fairway.
Yeah, that was.
And this is still a challenging shot here. Bit of a downhill lie. Fortunately, I got some good contact there with the mashie.
That stick balance helped you.
Did it?
So the fast, firm conditions definitely translated into the greens as well. And in addition to some significant undulation on these greens to start, the dried out greens made them even slicker. So you just had to go straight at the hole.
I saw yours.
Stay there. That's the problem.
Stop.
Oh, okay.
Did I mind tricked it? No, it still must have moved.
Okay.
All right, number 8, par 4, 285 yards. That was my swing of the round right there.
It was very good. A little kick to the right. Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's
Shot of the day.
gonna run forever too. You might have a little nothing pitch.
Cool.
Yeah, Jeff was right. It was about maybe 65 yards out here. Maybe not even that much.
Man, I'm just getting a ton of little bounces
There's
like
always
that.
it does that.
Yeah.
It's
It's
hard to get a consistent roll.
right.
Like that.
Yeah, it felt pretty good. Get another par there. Number 9, par 4, 394 yards. As long as you stay in the fairway, this hole's not bad. Nice. But if you go to the right, where all those trees are, the hole gets quite a bit more difficult.
Come on.
I was getting a little frustrated here. Not with the course, but with my approach to the course. I'm a slow learner, so you're going to see, it took me till about, I'd say, 17th hole here to finally figure out what I should have been doing all round, which was just trying to keep it on the ground, not worry about doing anything too fancy or flying it too far. I think the biggest issue for me here was just my mental approach to this round.
Thanks.
And, yeah, just trying to do too much. Should have been playing this more conservative, just trying to keep it in the fairway, rather than try to pull off heroic shots whenever I had the opportunity. It didn't help that I was missing those short putts either. Well, that'll do it for the front 9. Before we go to the back 9, though, I want to show you what I'm wearing. Sponsored by Fiddler Golf Shoes. Fiddler Golf Shoes are Goodyear welted and handcrafted in Spain, and they are my favorite golf shoes. Proud to have them as a sponsor. I'm wearing the brown and white Lynxland for this round, and you can find details and the rest of the clothes I'm wearing in the description. Here's number 10, par 4, 406 yards. So this is where some of the routing changes from the original Foulis design are a little more apparent. The first hole of the original Foulis design in 1902 followed what we're playing right now as number 10. It's not the same hole, but this is where number 1 was located.
Big hop. Oh yeah.
I'm starting to get a little bit more consistent with my swing here. I think this is kind of the point in the round too where I just said, I'm going to just swing easier. And for the most part, that worked. I really like this approach to this green. This is really pretty. And I think I'm hoping that the renovation enhances what's really pretty about this hole. It's a fun green to approach too because you've got a severely sloping back to front green. So if you play this right, you can get some nice spin to bring your ball back to the hole if you hit the back of the green. As I just mentioned to Jeff, though, there's no backspin using these Hickory clubs for me, so everything's going to spin forward. All right, number 11, par 4, 385 yards. This is one of the holes that I understand is going to be changed from its current par 4 length to a short par 5 length. As it is, it's a tough hole. You've got a creek kind of in a strategic location there for good drives. So you have to decide if you're going to come up short like Jeff did here and give yourself a fairly long approach into the green, which is elevated and, as you can see here, considerably sloped back to front.
Oh. So close. All right, so I'm going to come.
I kind of approached this hole as a scramble once I hit my shot into the woods. We had some traffic behind us and I didn't want to hold anybody up.
That is the idea, is to hit it into that hill and then deaden it.
I just took one putt here to show you
Yeah, that's nasty.
how severe that slope is. All right, number 12, par 3, 118 yards. This is another one that's going to really shine after the renovation, I think. For the most part, I played the par 3s pretty well today. Here's Jeff's second shot with the Hickories. This time using the mashie. Trying to hit a little knockdown shot here.
Not too bad. Man,
That was a nice easy swing though, and
Yeah.
that's how far it went.
I hit it well.
Yeah, you hit that well.
So I lied. I actually used one additional club. Forgot about. This is the Hagen Ironman sand wedge. And since this round, I've gotten more comfortable using it for these kinds of chips. So I've kind of resorted to using this more than the mashie niblick. Here's a good example of what these greens can do when they're burnt out and you put the pin in a difficult spot.
Look at that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's too severe right there.
No, that's not fair.
I know.
I mean, not when it's dry like this.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, kind of turn this pin placement into a trick shot where your best bet was to try to come back door on it.
Around it.
Trickle back in.
No.
That's the trick shot there.
Silly. I thought that was going to come back to your
I was
feet.
actually trying to hit it past so I could roll it back down in.
Oh,
that
man.
would have been fun.
Yeah, that was tough. All right, number 13, par 4, 286 yards. If you've got the length off the tee, you take the line that Jeff's taken right here, and you go straight at the green. I decided I was just going to try to play this conservative, but I was getting tired and found myself just stabbing at the ball.
Well, you're seeing the full Hickory hacker experience here. Yep.
No worries, man.
Yeah, it's situations like this where, you know, I just kind of go back to the mashie. That wasn't a great shot there, but I've said this before in previous course vlogs that when you're having trouble with your longer irons or just your swing in general, and you can't find tempo, just try to focus on using the mashie for several shots in a row, even if it's not the right distance club, because I find the mashie to be the easiest one, at least for me, to get myself back onto tempo, or back into tempo and back into rhythm. So here's where Jeff's drive ended up, just short of the green.
Oh, that was not the bounce I was hoping for.
He was hoping to get that chip a little bit closer, but not a bad chip. Put him in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's just
It slopes away a little bit right here.
Yeah, real nice hole for Jeff. Probably should have been keeping track of his score in this course vlog.
I lied to you, I'm sorry.
no, that's fine. I didn't really have a good read on that.
All right, number 14, par 4, 389 yards. Looks pretty good. Yeah, one thing I noticed about this particular shot is I was standing too far away from the ball. If you've watched the channel, you know that I use a modified single plane swing. And what I've noticed works better for me is to actually be a little bit more upright in my stance and not as far away from the ball as I was on a lot of these shots. So future course vlogs, you're gonna see that adjustment, and I believe and hope it'll make me more consistent. Another change to my 2023 bag is that I've replaced this Tom Morris mashie with a Tom Stewart mashie that I've been more consistent with on approaches. If you watched my Wekwatantsing course vlog, you heard me talk about my tendency to push that club right on approach shots, and the new Tom Stewart mashie that I've got in the bag has kind of solved that problem for me and is easier for me to use on chip approaches as well and bump and runs. Number 15 is a par 5 right now, 444 yards, but this is slated to become a long par 4. I believe it's going to end up 455 from the tips and be a long par 4, so this is going to be a challenging hole.
It's straight.
A little bit of a hook worm burner there. It ended up okay because there's enough room over there on the left side.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Using the Tom Stewart driving iron here. Hoping to get a better shot than that, but got it downhill into the fairway again. And now I'm using the Foulis Tom Stewart Gutty Club. That's a pretty decent shot there. Those trees behind the green have already been cleared out, so that's already producing some interesting vistas that haven't been seen in a long time.
Nice.
There's Jeff's swing with the Foulis.
It's gonna get a horrible kick. I rolled off the right edge.
Yeah, good swing though.
No curves at all. Look at that.
No, yeah. So Gutty clubs are smooth face.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No. Oh, it kicked left, and I saw it land on the green.
What? Really?
It might have rolled over.
We got some traffic again behind us here, so you're not going to see me wrap up this hole. And we'll move on to number 16. Last par 3 on the course, 166 yards. Elevated tee box down to the green. That was a pretty good shot for Jeff, just in the front right edge. I get a little bit closer here from the white tees. And I'll show you one of these bunkers. So I was trying to get cute here. Thought I'd be able to use the mashie niblick. And that didn't work. Fortunately, that was a decent shot to get out of that. There wasn't any sand in that bunker. That was just all grass. And another nice putt from off the green for Jeff.
Nicely judged. Still high. Wow. Good putt. Thanks.
And the short putt woes continue. All right, number 17 is a par 5, 473 yards. Back in the day, you would cross the street that you see on the left side of the fairway there and play holes 13 through 17 on that side. But that is now Incarnate Word Academy. And now you play this pretty tight fairway that hugs the road, and it's a little unnerving teeing off with cars driving by on the left side. That was one of my better swings of the day, though. Stayed on the right side, got a lot of rollout.
Comfortable over that one.
And then this is where I finally figured out what I should have been doing all day. Just trying to put my weight forward on my left foot with that swing to keep it low and let the ground do all of the distance work rather than trying to get it up in the air all the time.
Ball. Hit it.
That was not as much break as I thought.
That was a good putt there. And that takes us to 18. It's a heroic par 3, 234 yards. This is a heck of a way to finish the round. One of the deepest, toughest par 3s in the state of Missouri. And also used to be a par 4. So back in the day, in the original routing, this would have been a short par 4. And with technology now, it's a doable par 3 if you've got an accurate 3-wood. I ended up on the right side, but found a little bit of a window to get through between those trees. Got myself back into the right fairway. Jeff's drive actually went over the green, I believe. We were on totally different sides of the hole, so I'm not sure how he got to where he ended up here. So as we hole out here at Normandie, I want to thank you for watching, and I especially want to thank Jeff for hosting me and showing me his favorite golf course in St. Louis. Looking forward to coming back here after the renovation and seeing how it's different, and also exploring more historic golf courses in the St. Louis area with Jeff, and hopefully getting him to try Hickory's for one of those rounds too. Hope you enjoyed this walk around Normandie, folks, and if you want to see another Foulis Brothers course vlog, you have to be a hacker backer. This is Nippersink Golf Club, a James Foulis design from 1922 that you can only watch if you're a channel member, and you can only be on this list if you're a channel member through Patreon or YouTube. Information on joining is in the description below, and if you want to find Hickory golfers in your area, go to hickorygolfers.com and join the Society of Hickory Golfers. Thanks for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed this. We'll be back next week with another video. In the meantime, here are a couple from the archive for you to check out. And as always, thanks for your support. We'll see you next time. Take care.